Okay. Good morning.
Good morning.
I know everybody sees 4 microphones.
Yes.
We've just been definitely getting creative.
We have. Well, you know what? We've been moving the equipment around. Well, I say we, but producer Rick has been coming and like packing everything.
Dude, I like that she gives you credit.
I'm like nervous that everything is, I didn't hit all the buttons.
She totally gives you credit. She's like, well, actually, Rick, how come when it's me and you don't go, actually, Steve, you just take credit? But it has been really fun and exciting for us we took the podcast to Vegas. Awesome.
All our friends got to be on it. My brother.
And then being from South Texas, the Coastal Bend, as they call it, and Gregory, Portland, and Corpus Christi.
Yeah.
We did that show, and I just wanted to bring Corpus something special.
Yeah.
And we decided to do a live podcast. And
I was a little nervous how it was going to translate because it's an outdoor venue. It was a big crowd,
Yeah, I had no idea. What was going to happen, how it was going to look. But I think, it
was a lot of fun.
People had a really good time with it.
And the couples who came up were so funny.
Yes.
Except for the one girl who was like, oh, I love my husband. I don't have any complaints. I just want to come up and say I love my husband and he's wonderful.
That's awesome. There's one in the world.
I was like, give that mic to someone who needs it.
There's one in the world, and we found it in South Texas. Okay, one in the world.
No, but then later that night we found out it's their second marriage.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So now she's like
that
trying to...
That explains a lot. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. That's not nice to say. That's very disrespectful.
It's very Captain Evil of me.
But I'm very excited because, we were down there. Aztec Chevrolet,
yes.
Big part of our lives, big part of helping me get that Corpus Christi show going because I wanted to do a fishing tournament. Aztec Chevrolet gave us a donation. And then, of course, the people that won the donation then turned around and gave it back to Driscoll
the winner.
Children's Hospital. So it was just awesome. And of course, our friends at Old Salt Coffee, Trevino 10. Okay, Trevino 10 means that you put in that code when you order your Old Salt Coffee, you get your coffee in the mail, and every time you drink that coffee, remember that bag gave $1 to helicopter.
But they have to put in the code so they know it's coming from us.
Yeah, they have to put in the code so that they know it's coming from us. So please, Old Salt Coffee, Trevino 10, every bag you buy. And do me a favor, if you're listening to this, if you're watching it, take a picture of your bag, send it to me, and I know that photograph that you sent me is basically worth $1.
I love the bags too. Like the packaging is really pretty. They
Beautiful.
do a good job.
Grab one.
It's cool.
Show them.
This is the blue one. This is the brown shoe blend. This is my preference, the medium roast, because I'm a coffee drinking wimp. But I just think they're pretty. I like their logo.
Yeah, they look good. And I was going to tell you, you look great.
Oh, do I?
Still no abs, but
that's okay. I got a cute jacket on to cover that up.
You look fantastic. You look like a stripper that had to go to court. That's what you look like. A stripper that had to go to court.
When my hairdresser cuts my hair, she says, "Ooh, Renae, I just gave you stripper hair."
But I'm super excited because we have 4 mics here. We have some very special guests for you guys, and I'm really excited because and I talked about it in one of my jokes where I talk about Strange Obsessions, the show. Where people are obsessed with something.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of shows we like to watch, right? We like to watch the crazy, and a lot of it is, wow, I feel much better about myself.
Wait, but first I think, aren't we going to fight some fights?
No.
We did in the Corpus show?
Hold on. No, first we're going to talk about how wonderful New York City was. How great it was to go to town.
It was good.
We literally went into
to go to town like we're country folk, and we went to the big city.
We went to the city. Went out there to the big old city, and they don't have any picante sauce out there. But we loved it, and it was great to go to the city.
Can I tell you, Steve did not want to wait and stand in front of the sign. There was you had a big old flashing billboard in the middle of Times Square with your name on it, and I could not get him to stand out there long enough to get a proper picture of you underneath it. And I'm just so proud of you, baby. I went to school in New York, and I remember going through Times Square, and never ever did I imagine
you would be boning the guy on a billboard. But you are sometimes, occasionally.
Hardly ever.
But forgive my sniffling. My allergies are kicking my ass, man. It is cedar fever out here.
I know I have cough drops in my pocket,
too. It's just kicking my butt. So forgive me for the sniffles.
No, but see, I was trying to say something nice about you and give you props, and you like turn it to sniffles.
Because I don't know how to do. I don't know how to handle things.
You don't know how to respond when I'm nice to you?
Yes, I don't know how to handle.
When I say I'm proud of you, that was a great
yes,
moment.
I don't know how to handle that, so I make a joke, right? Or I distract. You know, something heavy, serious happens, I distract. I make a joke. It's how I cope. It's. I don't go to therapy, but I probably should, and I'm sure that is why I joke. And a couple of things that we did in New York. Number one, to all of you that came out, thank you. Thank you.
It was like the people who wanted to be there really wanted to be there because it was through COVID and whatever requirements the theater had. And then there was a snowstorm. And New York City's being crazy safe. And that's okay, you know. Yeah. And we still had a wonderful, wonderful show. But everyone who wanted to be there really wanted to be there. It was a cool audience.
I wanted to do something, and Renae wanted to do something. And I wanted to go and pay my respects at the Trade Center, which is now called the Freedom Tower. I wanted to go down there. I wanted to make sure that I went by there and just paid my respects, you know. And again, me not being able to handle heavy things, I could not hang out for long.
Yeah, you were like a speed demon walking through that museum.
It's very heavy. It was a very somber place. And I just think of you know.
But such an incredible and beautiful tribute. Like really, I feel like depicts the perseverance of New Yorkers.
Of Americans.
Yeah.
Of people, of human beings, of you know, all these brave men and women that were running into the building, you know, and the men and women that worked there, and I can't imagine what they went through. It's one of those things too where you know about it. It happened in your lifetime, and then as you get older, you really start to understand the gravity of the situation. So I wanted to make sure to go there and pay my respects to all the men and women that were there involved, lost their lives there. You know, some to this day are still dealing with the effects of them being there. Right? Yeah. So to not be sad anymore. We also wanted to go to a Broadway show.
We saw off-Broadway play, yeah.
Well, it was off-Broadway. And it was Little Shop of Horrors. So cool.
Yeah.
So cool.
Turned out the lead was from Corpus Christi, which like we randomly didn't know until we were reading the program.
He went to Carroll.
Yeah.
I mean, I sent him a message on Instagram, and I don't think he's the I love my home guy. I think he's like, ugh, you're from back home? I think he's that guy. Because I did reach out, I got nothing in return, and I think that because I told him, I said, hey man, really, this is awesome. I'm from Gregory, Portland. Yeah. I'm performing at Times Square. I'd like to invite you out to my show. Congratulations on all your success. I got nothing back. Yeah. Because I think as soon as I put I'm from Gregory, Portland, he was probably like, ugh.
Well, it turned out one of my classmates was like the musical director, and I realized it when I read the program too.
I am in New York now. I don't associate with people from there. So, but I'm still very proud of him. And I'm speculating that that's how he is. But, so the first thing that we wanted to bring up today, we thought it'd be fun to do something really cool. And if Rick,
we did it kind of off the cuff on a whim at the live show, you know, where we fought people's fights. And it was funny and it was fun. So we thought we'd bring it back.
It goes back to how this whole thing was born, which was, pardon the bitching.
When we started the podcast, yes, you were like, you know, there's this show on ESPN called Pardon the Interruption. And I was like, no, I don't watch ESPN. I don't know what that is. But you were like, let's set a timer and
we get to bitch about.
Right. Yes. And it was so much fun.
It was fun. And you know, it is cool when people come up to us and say, man, you got us through the pandemic. We look forward to it every Wednesday. Yeah. Well, you guys got us through the pandemic. And I've said that a million times.
For sure.
So, the first one, Rick, I'm sorry, but a little hacky.
So Rick read the comments because we told people, right? They could chime in and submit their arguments and we would argue them. And so these are some of the ones that people actually submitted. They came in.
Right. And
I wrote it down, by the way. Someone said, my husband peed all over the seat. So I was like, well.
Yeah,
well,
but
that's a given. My husband pees all over the seat.
Well, let's just go to that. Okay, it's dark. It's late. right? Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night.
Don't act like you only do it at night.
And all I'm saying is,
you do it during the day too.
If you were to leave the toilet seat up, that wouldn't happen. So you're
then it would be all over the bowl, dripping down the side.
You're doing it to yourself.
Then the whole restroom would smell like urine.
If it were to stay up, and then when you brought it down, you picked it back up, then we wouldn't have these issues.
So you're saying it's the female's responsibility to lift the toilet seat up and down?
I think it's both responsibility. I think it's after I'm done, I leave it up. After you're done, you put it back up. Both of our responsibilities.
Okay, believe it or not.
After I drop a deuce completely naked, I put it back up. See, let's just leave it up.
Okay, I am willing to accommodate that if it means that I have a clean toilet seat to use. But you're honestly telling me that after you...
Dude. I love this podcast because, Captain Evil over here. In front of other people, I am willing to compromise.
No, I didn't finish.
She's never willing to compromise.
Are you really telling me, though, that after you poop, you're going to lift the seat up?
Yes.
Because I don't believe you.
I'm happy to. After I drop one, because I always go to the shower, I'll pick it up.
Okay. So from now on, I will just assume every time I walk into the toilet room, I'm putting the seat down. And it will be clean? It will be clean?
And then after you pee, you put it back up.
God, that's going to be hard to remember.
See? Well, then it's... Really okay, so it's hard for me to remember to put it back up. Okay, so next topic. Husband will not clean dishes. Crumbs everywhere. Well, I mean, that one's tough because...
You don't clean the dishes anyway.
We already talked about that. I can't clean dishes. And I am the...
I have to say, though, it's really frustrating. Like, it's... Especially with Delilah right now being one, it's really hard to, do the cook. It's hard to cook with her. Like, yesterday in the kitchen, I'm standing right over her, and she broke a glass container.
Well, we've had this conversation before. For some reason, in your head, you have this... I have to order gourmet meals, and I have to cook gourmet meals every evening for dinner.
I'm just trying to...
And sometimes chicken nuggets. Sometimes throw it in the oven. Sometimes order food. Sometimes order a pizza. Very simple.
Sure. I do that too. But when you have to cook and then you also have to clean the dishes, and then you're the last, as a mom, usually you're the last one to sit at the dang table anyway. Everyone's already started eating and you're still plating everyone's food or trying to tidy things up. And before you even get to sit down and eat your food, everyone's already done and it's time to clean the kitchen. And it's just if you could help with the dishes, that would be great.
Okay. I will help with the dishes. Is that what you would like? I will help with the dishes.
You seem a little angry about it.
No, it's amazing to me. You know the back issues I have. You know, and I don't want to talk about it because it embarrasses me. You know that there are times where if I'm in a certain position...
How did fighting someone else's fight turn into our fight already?
No, I'm just saying that you happen to know all my back issues. You happen to know that there are some positions that I'm in where I can't even walk. I fall.
Yeah.
And that position is the position to wash dishes. So, yes, I will wash dishes.
No,
I hear you loud and clear. I hear you loud and clear.
No. You know,
I will from now on,
podcast,
I will from now on wash the dishes.
No, I think what
and I'll mop in the mornings
like
I do. I'll mop and vacuum in the mornings like I do. I'll also start the washer and throw the stuff in the dryer. I will also work on the yard. I will also take Garrett to school in the morning. I will, ¿Qué más? Oh man, I think we're having their fight. We weren't even fighting today. What just happened?
Moving on. We need the timer. We need a ding, ding, ding.
How do I tell my wife she kind of smells? Ooh, that might have come from somebody that did meet and greet with us.
Love this one. No, I have an irrational fear of Alzheimer's, and so I will not put aluminum in my
She doesn't wear real deodorant.
I wear the all-natural stuff, and it works better in some climates than others. And so I usually smell, and I'm okay with that.
She wears the organic, no aluminum, and it might have. I mean, she's better off with a bar of Irish Spring and rubbing it under her arms because. And I don't want to shit on the brand. Okay, because some people like it. This brand, it doesn't work.
Well, I've tried I just have really sensitive skin, so some brands make me break out in a rash and, whatever.
I will take Alzheimer's when I'm old over
That's
people
a terrible
going.
Thing. No.
Over people going, oh man, that guy
Steve's
smells.
wife smells.
Yeah. But in our case, I think Renae and I have a very, very good relationship. And I will just tell her.
You tell me I smell.
I'm like, dude, you stink.
Go put on deodorant.
Like,
you tell me.
You need to go put
reapply.
deodorant. Yeah, like I'm trying to help you out, fool. Like,
it does come from a place of love.
But no, for sure. And I think that part of the reason that mine and your relationship is successful is because we are honest with each other.
Yeah.
And that we're very open, and we're not afraid to hurt each other's feelings.
And I like the smell of your armpits.
I know it's creepy. It's creepy, and I don't know if you want to reveal that on the podcast, but yes, my pheromones are very animalistic, and I've walked into places and heard women go. I've heard it. We have different views on raising kids. I want them to take chances, and my husband wants them to be safe. I am the take chances.
Yeah.
I just know when it comes to learning that doing is the best way to learn. And when you're doing, you're going to make mistakes. And I already know that.
Yeah.
And, my dad was the kind of dad that if you made a mistake, he would lose his shit.
Yeah.
And why would you do that and pay attention and blah, blah, blah. And with Garrett, I'm okay letting him make mistakes.
I think you and I see eye to eye on that one, though, because I was such a little perfectionist as a kid that I see the value in not being that. And so I try.
I want him to have a dirt bike, but wear a helmet.
Yeah.
Right? Ride the dirt bike, wear a helmet. But I still want you to ride. I want you to take the chances.
Yeah.
He drives our mule around now.
He almost took a chance hitting your truck. And then I was like, well, now I won't be the only one.
But there's also, and now that I think about it, I say it out loud, my dad was very concerned about me making mistakes because my dad couldn't afford the mistakes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
My dad couldn't afford for me to ruin the lawnmower.
Right.
My dad couldn't afford for me to wreck his truck.
For sure.
My dad couldn't you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I understand that it's like, hey, I can't let you take this chance because if you do ruin this riding lawnmower that I just
the consequences cost something.
Right. And for me, it's like, we've been blessed. So, hey, no big deal. If Garrett ruins the lawnmower, I'll get it fixed. Right.
Yeah.
If he hits my truck or the mule, I got insurance. I'll just take care of it. Right.
Yeah.
So there definitely is a difference in that. But I definitely think that you have to let your kids live.
Yeah.
And I'm a big, and you've had a hard time with this. I'm very big on do what's right, do your own thing. I don't need to tell you what to do.
Yeah.
And you're very, I used to always laugh like, when I would first started driving and my dad would say, or my mom would say, please don't get in a wreck. And it's like, well, do you think that I'm
trying to?
Right. Do you think I have intentions of like, ooh, I can't wait to get in this car and get in a wreck?
Yeah.
No, I'm trying to be careful. So instead of saying, hey, Garrett, you're going to drive my mule around, don't get in a wreck, right? I just go, hey, man, be aware, pay attention.
Right.
Watch what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
Pay attention. Because, but ultimately I think, kids in general, they need to take risks and they need to learn on their own and they need to experience things. And if they don't, I think you're putting them at a disadvantage.
Yeah.
And I don't even, we're going to move on to our friends, but, and it also scares me too, in 2022, that I'm raising my kid with morals. I'm raising my kid to be honest. I'm raising my kid.
We talked about this.
It's scary, man, because this world that we live in is very deceptive and very backstabbing.
And the good man doesn't always win.
And this world that we live in, being a good guy is sometimes a negative. Telling the truth is sometimes a negative. Being fake is a positive now. And, climbing.
I don't think you don't mean it that way.
But
that
climbing
it's a positive,
that ladder and making fake friends and,
It seems like there's a different rule book and a different skill set required to play.
Right. But we do have 4 mics, and we're very excited because I have known this couple for quite some time now.
Yeah.
And we're very excited because
we met Eric and Ruby through our producer Rick.
Yep, through our producer Rick, and wonderful couple, wonderful couple, and it's really cool that she is a doctor.
Well, you have to introduce her properly. So Dr. Ruby Rose is I don't know, do you say former or retired? Is it like pro sports where, how do you refer to them? I forget, you call them retired or former. Anyway, she's a former model and then an ER doctor.
Once a model, always a model. Once a model, always a model. But, you know, it is one of those things too where it's like, hey, watch what you say, right? You want to make fun of that model, that she's dumb, right? She is not dumb.
Yeah.
She is a doctor.
Yeah.
And Dr. Ruby has a new show called This Came Out of Me. By the way, on the Discovery series, and if you're into feeling better about yourself, watch this show. Because well, first of all, I have a surprise, Rick. I didn't tell you about this, but I have shoved something up my ass. And I'm going to let you rub my belly and figure out what is in my ass.
Can I just say something? Like last week, you guys were talking about New York. She was on Good Day New York last week. And the host, like in asking about the series, went straight to, have you ever pulled any animals out of people?
Well, actually, she asked me if I've ever... What did she say? What were the strangest things I've taken out of people?
Yeah.
And of course, instead of saying, splinters or pus, I went to vegetables. Yeah, I went straight to vegetables.
Why do I feel like this is a thing I've heard about vegetables?
Oh,
Is it like
it's
a
a thing.
fetish kind of thing?
Yes.
I don't.
Oh yeah.
But we're gonna get into that in a minute. First,
Sorry,
we're gonna get into that in a minute. But first, your love story.
Oh.
How did you guys meet? Who hit on who?
Well,
And by the way, how did you end up with a model?
Well, the trick, anybody out there, the trick is to get them in med school. They don't have any social life. So
you guys met before med school.
she was in med school.
Yeah.
She was still modeling when she was in med school, just so she could have a social life.
Yeah.
Just happened to
I
cast
needed
her.
to pay for med school, so I had to model.
And then you were like, look what I have, carbs. Come on, come get some carbs.
So funny enough, and she can chime in as well. Funny enough, like I was at the casting. I had to leave early, so we were casting all these girls for.
Oh, right, because we didn't say that. Eric works in production.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry. So all these girls are coming in. Okay, she'll work. And it was for a show open on Lifetime at the time. It was called Lifetime Live. It never aired for one reason or another. But we made the show open. And I had to leave casting, and so I leave. And I go meet my friend who's coming to town. And we go to a bar, my bar. Know everybody at the bar. And lo and behold, I look across the bar. I'm like, oh, there's a hot chick right there. And there's some guys chatting her up. And
Yeah, he could have come over and saved me, but he
But wait a
didn't.
minute, but you were in the casting call.
I didn't know it, though.
He didn't see me.
So when I look up porn casting couch, this is real.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it leads to what came out of it.
It's a lot of model cards.
So, but you didn't know.
I didn't know that she had been in the casting because
Like,
I left
not
early.
even seen her headshot or anything.
Next morning, I go to the office and there's a stack
Wait,
of
wait,
headshots.
wait. Go back. So you start talking to her.
No.
She was chatting it up with a bunch of dudes.
Oh.
But you don't step in on that.
I was out with some friends. He was at the bar, completely separate.
And then you totally creepy went to go look for you saw her
No,
headshot.
he didn't know. He just recognized my card the next morning, and he was like,
That's what I
that's
mean.
the girl from the bar.
So then you called her?
Because I
No, she came in
I
because we
was
casted her.
Player. So that's how you get a model. You have the ability to cast.
But she, I knew she was coming. Everybody on the set knew. Oh, that's Eric.
You prepped them.
So I was like, I saw that girl. I wanted to talk to her.
Right. All these dudes wanted to talk
So all
to
of
her.
a sudden, everybody's in on it. We move her to the end of the shoot. She actually came up to me,
Yeah,
Did you really?
I did.
and she said,
Well, I mean, with these blue
Did you
eyes,
sense it?
and
Yeah.
and he was much more mature than most of the other men I was.
Well,
I wouldn't even
at
say
that
men.
age.
That I was, talking
So
to back then.
Who invites who to coffee, dinner, drinks?
So we actually went out to the said bar that night, and we
Blue
kind of
Cat.
just, hit it off after that. I mean, once he told me he was in the military, and then he has a dog, I was like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
You got me. You got me.
It's so crazy. We talk to so many people where you just know.
Yeah.
Renee and I were like that. Renee and I started dating, and
it
that
moved
was
fast.
it.
Yeah.
And it was, all right, well, we're together, and now what? You know, and it's really weird how there's so many people like that where there's just a moment where you just go, so then how do we get into, so where are you going to medical school?
So I went to Tufts Medical School. So we met in Boston.
Oh, so this was in Boston.
It was in Boston.
Yeah.
Boston. Well,
where
he's
I
got
had
that.
every intention to move to New York for
Right.
work because Boston isn't a hotbed for production.
Yeah.
So I got my New York cell phone. I'm like, where am I going to live? Starting to do these things and, you know, start dating her. And, you know, once you get a doctor on the reel, you're like,
Hey, if this production shit doesn't work out, I'm going to be all right.
Exactly. Right?
I get something to fall back on.
I can stay here. We're good. Right.
And I was happy. He just wasn't another
So,
doctor.
well, yeah, that's nice too.
That was fun, you know.
So how long before you guys move in together?
Oh, I was in his apartment within, 5 months?
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, done.
That's how we were. It was the
Yeah.
same thing where we just, that's it. It's us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just knew. I don't know. We just hit it
Yeah,
off, and he has a sense of humor, and
Somewhat.
Well, somewhat, yeah.
So then you had to finish medical school.
yes. So I
There
finished
in
medical
Boston.
school, and then I applied to my residency. So I decided to do emergency medicine. I got my top choice, which was UMass Medical Center.
Now, and
And-
I'm interrupt,
yeah.
but you know, I was lucky enough, and I'm lucky enough to have a doctor in the family who happens to be one of my best friends, and coincidentally enough, we're the same age. What I'm trying to get to is I saw what he went through,
Oh yeah.
you know, and he
It's
is now an
grueling.
ENT.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it is, you know, he wanted to specialize, right? But emergency is, you have to know everything.
Yeah. We know everything on the top, right? We know how to deal with just about any emergency, like we can identify things, but then once getting into the nitty gritty, you know, people start asking me, well, so what's the procedure of appendicitis? I'm like, I don't know. You're going to have to ask your surgeon.
Well, I'm going to get that guy.
I've
Yeah.
sat in on those surgeries, but I don't know how to do it. you
But
know?
also
So-
being able to save a life.
Yes, yeah. So we are trained and overly trained, and that's what we do. And you know, there are 3-4 year residencies, and that's all we do is emergencies. And if there are procedures that we don't do often, we do them on pigs.
Yeah,
Or
because
cadavers.
the pig is the most
Yeah.
Closest thing to a human body.
Yeah, and the skin
Now,
and everything, so.
I'm going to ask you a question. I hope I don't offend. I have had, and you know, my cousin, I don't want to name his name, but you know, there was a moment when he had first become a doctor, and the way that he was talking to his nurses. Afterwards, I pulled him aside and I said, if I ever fucking hear you talk to nurses
Good for
that
you.
way,
Yeah.
I go, remember where you come from. And you also have to remember, and I told him this, I said, you are exceptionally intelligent, right? I
Yes.
go, so you cannot expect, and he always tells me, he goes, Steve, I always think of you, how mad you got at me
Good.
for treating my nurses wrong.
Yeah.
What is it about doctors that leads them to this? Because I have
Okay.
dealt with some that I'm like,
Yeah.
I will fucking kill you the way you're talking to me right now.
So I was actually on admission committees, and I remember talking to some, you know, medical students that were coming in to
Well,
our
because you're a
residency.
hospital director too, right? So
Yeah.
you're dealing with.
Gee, what else?
Right. Well, that's
Bro, you
now,
are a
yes.
loser. Go play with your cameras.
She's a black belt, a model, a freaking medical director. She's double boarded, not just in ER, but something else. And I'm like, I
He
don't know.
doesn't even know. This is a list of shit.
I can't even keep the yard up like you do. I'm screwed.
Well, I'm Mexican, so you get a pass. You get a pass.
I'm Irish, so I'll be like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get drunk and you
He's
can
on
hit
the couch with the, you
yeah,
know,
you can hit the ball down the fairway. I can make sure that the ball lands nicely on the grass. So there's a thing going on here. So where were we?
No, so yeah,
How
no.
doctors
It's just some people just don't have the social skills, and they just.
But that
and you
comes
see
with that sometimes comes with intelligence.
It does. It
Yeah.
does, or not. You know, I mean,
Right.
Some
people
people
are
just don't
are
have
just
it. You're right. I've encountered
socially
it.
inept,
Yeah.
right? And they can be as brilliant as they can be, but
Well,
they're
I-
any
not
profession.
in
and
any
I
profession,
think
right?
that you run into it too, like I do, where talented people sometimes are the same way, where they just socially, you know, they can play a guitar and they can sing their ass off, or they can be super funny, or they're amazing actors, but people go, man, that guy's a dick.
Yeah.
you're
And it's just socially
But then you go,
awkward.
no, he's not a dick.
Yeah.
He's just not comfortable.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you're
And
very.
because you were
but some
expecting
people are just
something
dicks.
from them. Yeah, some people, well, that's the
I mean,
problem.
I see a lot of them come to the ER.
That's the problem is you're aware you're a dick. You know, Bill
Yes.
Maher, when you talk to Bill
Right.
Maher, he's like, look, I was a cock
Yeah.
before I was famous. He's like, so I'm an asshole now.
Yeah.
Where's he from?
Is he Boston? Yeah, Boston. So now you've graduated. How the hell do you guys end up in Austin, Texas?
Oh, well, that's his fault.
For his bullshit.
Cameras.
Cameras.
Actually, it's not my fault. She blames me for this. We had a boy and a girl, just like you guys.
Oh,
Perfect,
my
right? They call it the
goodness.
millionaires, whatever. Just like you hit it, boy and a girl, bang.
Right.
This one decides to get pregnant.
Oh, I decided.
Yes.
Right.
I come home from.
Why did you hold on to his ass cheeks? Let him go. Let him go.
And this gets to, like, why do we? Because our house in Boston was small, and we had to move out of the city because of the child. And I was like, listen, third child, let's just give Austin a try, because I had been talking with some people about forming a full
Doing
service,
business and-
full service
right.
production company. So I was like, well, why don't we go down and check it out? She's pregnant, and we came down, and of course she nails the interview and
Yeah,
gets
I
a
was,
job
like,
offer
almost
where
8
there was
months pregnant.
where there was like no jobs to be had at the time in the medical field.
Yeah.
She gets the job. I'm like, well, why don't we just give Austin a try? And since then, it's just been
Yeah, it's been a
a
whirlwind.
Yeah, like success.
It's been great.
Just breed success.
That is awesome.
And now you're doing a show
And now I'm doing a
where
TV
you
show.
are an ER doctor.
Yes, I am.
No, she's not.
Yeah.
You're saying it like she
Right, like
acts
she's
like
playing.
an ER doctor. You're not playing an ER doctor. You are really an ER doctor.
Yes.
But before that, so
Yes.
the rumor has it that somehow Paul Mooney fits into your life.
Yes. Paul Mooney is my uncle. Well, growing up, he is my uncle. He is was my mom's half sister.
Okay, so for people who don't know comedy, you have to. I know
Yes.
who Paul Mooney is because
Hey,
I'm married
look, if
to
you don't know
but-
Paul Mooney, you just need to stop, because Paul Mooney is one of the most legendary comedians in the world. He has a huge part of the genius behind Richard Pryor. But did you get to meet him? Did you get to hang out
Oh
with
gosh,
him?
yeah, he
No.
was like family. I mean, he was.
Well, he was family.
Yeah.
They didn't
Yeah, exactly.
introduce me to him though.
No.
No.
It's crazy that you never met him because
No,
I know,
there was a couple times he was doing shows and I was just out of town.
Yeah.
But I think that guys like Paul Mooney are comedy is where they ended up, but they're philosophizing. They're philosophers.
Yeah.
Because I would watch Paul Mooney and you just go,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, this guy's so deep,
Yeah.
right? And he's able to say
like Dave
things that,
Chappelle.
right, like Dave
Right?
Chappelle
I
before
mean,
Dave Chappelle.
He has so much of a message to put out there, right?
And
it's
sometimes
great.
you're not laughing for 15 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're sitting there going, but
Yeah.
you're enamored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
You're enamored,
storytelling.
and he's a good
Yeah.
storyteller,
Yeah.
but he also as he got older too, he also had this sense of Big Brother, or for us, Big Uncle.
Yeah.
Right, like, hey, Uncle's talking,
Yeah.
everybody listen, right?
Yeah.
So that had to be really cool growing up.
It was. I mean, I grew
Is
up.
that why you like sense of humor?
Yes. Well, I grew up in a family of. I grew up with 4 brothers on in a high rise in New York City, right? And it
Doctors?
was, no doctors. So I grew up in the fashion industry. My dad was a fashion photographer. My mom was a fashion model. She was actually the first black model on the cover of Italian Vogue in 1971. So she paved a way quite.
How do I not know about
impressively.
this?
I know.
Like-
Carol
That's
LaBrie.
amazing.
Yeah, look it up. Carol
And
LaBrie.
Paul Mooney's like this.
And that's they're brother and sister.
That's
And let me
amazing.
just say that her mom, who passed this past year,
Yeah.
is like her and Mooney as far as their humor and just being able to drill down on
Right.
something. Her,
Oh,
her
yeah.
mother, like,
Why would she had to be on fashion set?
Yeah. Yeah, she had to stick up for herself. I mean, she did a lot of her modeling in Paris, and so she was also dealing with that whole different culture, and that's where I was born.
As much as I joke, it's really like I don't understand. Do you know what I mean? To think of racism,
Oh yeah,
like I get it, I joke about it, but to truly understand that, wait a minute, there was a black prom and a white prom. There was a rope.
the
it's-
segregation was.
It's really
incredible,
hard
right?
to
Yeah.
understand.
I know, it's
Wait a
crazy.
minute, you have to drink out of that faucet, and
Yeah.
what? Like it's
Yeah.
really hard to
I know.
comprehend it.
Envision a
Yeah.
time like that.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the cool part is now, and like me and Renae, we work together. Now you've married these two worlds that you started with production. You became a model doctor. You guys go pitch this show.
yeah.
Yeah.
Why this show?
Well, I think
Because it's that crazy, right?
It's crazy. Well, one, it's crazy, but yes.
Yeah, so this really came about, it really started like through a conversation with some network executives.
Did it start as a different idea and then morph into this?
No, Pimple Popper had come out and everybody, it was the rage. It was like 2018.
So
like, oh,
gross,
God,
yeah.
This guy, you know, I love you, but
People love it,
gross.
right?
I mean, yeah, it's just not for me.
And they love her. Right?
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah.
Because she's like helping these people,
Yeah,
and that's what
yeah.
people love to see.
Yeah.
But it came about because one of the executives had an ear impaction, and then this conversation just started going on about things that came out of me, and it morphed into this, and then it was greenlit, and then COVID came, and it was like shelf, and then this summer we were coming out of it this summer, and they're like, let's go. And we start the first couple weeks of production. We're getting a lot of these cases, guys impaled in the hand, ear bugs, all kinds of crazy stuff. And then
Well, see, that's how crazy I am. It's not just the butt.
No. Well,
Other things can come out of you.
We couldn't show the butt on TV, so we had to take a lot of stuff. I mean, trust me, as an ER doctor, when people come in with butt foreign bodies, is what we call them, well, buttock foreign bodies, man, we're all very intrigued. I mean, we have to be very professional with the patient because, you know, gosh, that's the last place they want to be with their butt foreign body, right?
Right, and a bunch of doctors.
Yeah,
And you got
we'll
the-
never do that. but you know, but we couldn't show that on TV,
pun
right?
intended.
So as much as I wanted to, I mean, gosh, I've got a lot of good stories about, you know, butt foreign bodies. You know, we take X-rays of them, we try and identify what they are, and we're just like, you know, what could that be? Oh, I know.
But you know, it's interesting that you say that because I wasn't even thinking like, you know, I could be working in the yard and have a branch.
Yeah,
And,
you can get
you know.
impaled. Yeah, we actually had a patient that
There's the
that
famous
was,
one with the guy with the freaking
Oh, yeah.
knife in the head.
Yeah.
Oh, the railroad spike, that was Phineas
Yeah.
Cage.
Well, yeah, that was an interesting. Yeah, that's a.
So on a average week, how many things are you pulling out of people?
Ooh.
No, I'm
I would say,
interested. Aren't you
know,
interested?
Well, if you include pus and you include like glass, you know, things like that, where people fall, you know, with a glass in their hand or something like that, I would say several times a week we are doing procedures where we're actually removing a foreign body. And they may not be as like exciting as like, you know, Mothra coming out of somebody's ear, which was on the show, but like
A moth?
a moth. It
Well,
was a
remember,
big
we had a
moth.
friend who got a June bug in their ear.
Yeah.
And he said it was like the most painful thing
It's super
ever.
painful. Yeah, the inner ear, as you know, like it hurts. I mean, when
Right.
it gets infected, it is super
No,
painful.
My doctor cousin, that's what he deals with.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
So yeah, we pull a lot of stuff out of
Well,
ears,
so
noses.
also, it's all 100% real.
Yes. Oh yeah, yeah. It's a docu-series, so
And
yeah.
and
They
on
embedded
the production side,
cameramen.
you know, because I dabble,
Yeah.
mainly with you guys.
Yep.
How insurance-wise, how do you have a camera crew?
Oh, in an ER room.
Oh, so it's a verbal consent. It's like, hey, we're doing a docuseries on unusual cases that come into the ER. Would you be comfortable if we filmed it? And if at the end you're uncomfortable, we delete everything.
Right.
And
they can come back and say, you know what, I changed my
yeah,
mind.
because you have to. If they agree to it, then you do it, and then you circle back, and then you ask when they're out of duress,
Yeah.
when they're stable, comfortable, can freely think about what they just permitted us to do, then we'll ask them, is it okay if we use
it
this?
really okay?
Is it really
Right.
okay? So we get a verbal consent first, and it's a whole legal
But I'm
process.
also talking about the hospital, them being okay.
Yes. So so Signature Care Emergency Center it's not hospital, it's a freestanding emergency room.
Ah.
So it's a facility that is an emergency room. So a lot of people think it's an urgent care, but we're open 24 hours a day. We're 24/7, and we're staffed by emergency physicians. We are all board certified in emergency medicine, and all the nurses are board certified in nursing, in emergency nursing. So that we all come with a ton of experience. And so in urgent care, you may not even see a physician if you go to urgent care, right? So a lot of times they'll send patients that are too complicated to us, where we can deal with whatever that emergency is. So and we have CT scans, ultrasound, I mean everything, right? So so when you say, so there are freestandings that are part of a hospital, because there are communities that don't have a hospital. So that's how in Texas they put freestandings in certain communities, like in Killeen, you know,
So
they're
you can get quick care.
Yeah, their hospitals are overloaded. I mean, they have like 8-hour waits, and so at our facility, they come in and we usually see them within, you know, minutes, you know. But during a surge, you know, it's been a little longer. But on the most part, we get them in pretty quickly, and we deal with their emergency and get them out and feeling better. And
I've always wondered this too. Is there a priority order?
Yeah, well, so when people check in, it depends on their
Because
complaint.
sometimes I had to go to an emergency room in Tampa because I had the flu.
Yeah,
And she thought I was having seizures, but I had 104 fever.
yeah,
But I'm in the freaking lobby,
yeah.
like,
So you
for
had man
an
flu.
hour. I'm like, can I please get help?
We basically called you a wimp.
Yeah.
That's what she
Stop
did.
being a puss.
We
Right.
can tell man flu out in the waiting room, no problem. That's a no-brainer. We won't bring you right back. We'll bring in the person actually having the seizure.
But why wouldn't you go out? Why wouldn't you go out and give him like some Tylenol and be like,
I'm
here?
at 104 fever.
Well, why wouldn't you take Tylenol at home? Because
don't know.
you have to prove
Because
to us
I
you
thought I
have
was
fever.
dying.
No.
Worst wrong when people don't take medicine because
No.
they want to come in and they want
And
you
you want to
click the
prove
fever.
that they're like
Yes.
sitting there like.
But yeah, because then you get in there. No. You, like, because if he doesn't come in with 104, you're like,
No.
nah, you're fine.
No, not at all.
Yes.
But is it 104? I remember the doctor was like, he was like,
That's-
wow.
yeah,
He's
that
like, they had to put ice on my.
Aw.
Don't aw me. She does that to me. She does that to me when I take off my pants. She goes, aw.
Don't get me wrong. 104 fever. That's tough. That's
Well,
rough.
they did tell me that. He was like,
Yes.
he goes, we're going to sit here and make sure your fever goes down.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
But I also have a pencil lead
Ooh.
in my butt.
Oh, nice.
So if you want to look at that, it's still there.
I got one in my
can
arm.
see the mark.
Here.
Yeah.
I got stabbed by
Yeah.
one of my brothers actually.
You
back
know,
in the day.
you know the chairs that were connected to the desk,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
right?
Yeah.
In high school, I went in to get in one, and the pencil was sitting there in my ass. Yeah, so it's still there.
All right,
And I
nice.
probably have lead poisoning. So I'm just saying. The show has aired,
Yes, the first 2 episodes have aired.
and what's the response?
So far, mixed. I would say.
No. She doesn't follow the. Well, you do follow a little bit of the cheddar.
But
The
she's working
that-
5 other jobs.
Yeah, I mean,
right.
what people really like about the show is the authenticity. In like this, in today's age, in like reality TV, there's nothing real.
Yeah.
This is a real program.
Yeah, I always laugh
So-
when they're like, "Hey, welcome to my home." Well, there's a fucking camera angle behind you.
Yeah, exactly.
Can we not pretend that you already know?
Right.
Oh wow, surprise!
Yeah,
Yeah. So you just have a camera crew in your house, right?
Yeah. So there is the response is the authenticity, how the bedside manner, all of the physicians come across
Yeah.
great.
They didn't-
There's
Amazing.
some lighthearted, funny.
Are you on guard when the cameras are around, or do you feel pretty natural and you're just kind of?
No, because
You
we're
probably have enough other things to focus on.
right. Yeah, I mean, we're talking to the patient, and that's when we're engaged. Like, and I think all the physicians felt the same way. Like at our facility, we have that little extra time to just spend, with the patient, and so we just have that rapport. We get right away on with the patient. So I think we were just focused on that instead of the camera.
But you
it takes some time though.
Yeah, you have like
Always do.
since you have spent so much time in front of a camera anyway. You have like she pulled a bead out of a little kid's nose a couple weeks ago, or on the show,
yeah.
and she opens up to the camera, and the camera is like, oh, now I can get it. So
Right.
you get the idea of an angle, and
Yeah, my cousin stunk, and she would get her blankie, and she'd suck on her thumb, and she'd put this finger in her nose. Well, it turned out that she was shoving cotton in her nose, and she stunk. They had to figure out and get it out.
Oh, that's gonna be Delilah. As you say that, I just
Yeah.
realized that.
Episode 1, penis.
Yes, swollen penis.
Wait, before we get there, mother's kiss.
Oh.
Talk about that?
that's the bead. Yeah.
The mother's kiss is the.
Oh, so
yes.
the bead. What happened with the bead? How
Well,
do you get a bead in your
I
nose?
tried to take it out because I could see it, and so I actually tried with an instrument to take it out, and she wasn't having it, poor thing. So, so she
Well, because
cried.
I can assume she's freaking out.
I made her cry. Yeah, I did.
And you
I
don't
felt
care.
really
You were
bad
like,
about
oh,
it.
yeah. I know how you treat
You
people.
want to get the bead out of your
Yeah,
nose.
you're just like so focused. I was like, get the beat
Yeah.
out. But then, there's this mother's kiss where you basically have the parent blow in their mouth, and like you can jettison that foreign body out. So you have to hold one nose, and then you have the parent literally like blow as hard as they can into the kid's mouth,
Uh-huh.
and it like shoots that sucker right out. So
Did it work?
yeah, it worked.
That's
Yeah.
good to know,
It
though.
works like 60% of the time. Not all of them come out, and sometimes like the
How
parents
hard
don't
do you have
blow
to
hard
blow?
enough. Oh,
Yeah.
really hard.
Well, yeah, because everything's connected, you know,
Yeah.
through your sinuses, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now,
And I
what?
guess they're little tiny faces. It's all kind of closer, right?
But was it one of those situations where it was, oh shit, we got to go to the emergency room? She just put it in her nose, or
Yes.
was it one of those situations where, like my cousin, where we don't know what the fuck's going on?
No, she told her mom. She's like, "Well, I have something up my nose," and so I think the mom was like, "Well, what did you put up your nose?" And then
Yeah.
she showed her it was a bee.
She was like, cocaine, bitch. Like what? So then the penis.
The penis, yeah, the
Episode
swollen penis.
one? Is that
Episode
episode
1,
one?
we come out swinging. We come out with a swollen penis. Yeah, and I don't know how he got it swollen. I honestly don't. He wasn't my personal patient, but Dr.
What was it
Patel,
stuck?
Dr. Patel was awesome. with
Of
it.
course, you have a Dr. Patel.
Yeah, of course.
There's
We
a
have
Dr.
several. We
Patel
have
in
several.
every hospital in America because if you are of Indian descent, you are a doctor or you are an
No,
engineer.
wait, but I'm still stuck on how bad does it have to be?
By the
that
way,
he's
hold
like,
on.
my
Where-
penis is so swollen,
I-
I have to come to the ER. Like, I can't solve this problem at home.
For a visual, like I got to see the raw footage,
Yeah.
and I was like, what
I want to be in the editing room for this dick one we got going on.
I was like, how bad could it be? Oh my, it's like an eggplant.
Any man would
I
come
was
in with
just
that.
like, oh. And the funniest
Yeah.
thing is the guy was fantastic, and you know he's just so funny, and he's
Well,
like dealing with this giant
I'm like
swollen.
mortified for him.
How did it get swollen?
I think he might have been tugging too hard.
No.
That is humanly possible.
But how does this have to
I
do
think
with
he
getting?
might have touched it and it got.
What? You don't touch your dick and get it swollen?
I touch it every day, a lot.
I know. Don't you guys touch your things all the time?
This big
Yeah, it's never gotten that big. I try to get it that big.
I think
It's
he
never
had something
gotten.
on his hand that got. I think it was a contact.
So was it an
it's-
infection?
No.
Bad lube?
No, it was because it swelled. It's
Like an allergic
it
reaction to
swelled
something on his hand?
within hours. He was at work and then something happened where he like noticed it was swelling and then the next thing he looks down and it's like 10 times the size.
And then he sends some cock shots to his dad, which is hilarious. He's like, what are you
And his
doing?
dad's like, I think you need to go get that.
Dude,
checked."
Well, his dad's like, I knew you weren't my son. There's no way you're my son.
I thought only politicians were supposed to do that, but you know, whatever.
No, yeah.
He was,
So
he was a
what
sport.
what was the solution?
So they had to actually, it's called fenestration. So they had to actually poke holes with a needle around his glands, which is like the skin. He was circumcised, so it was like around the skin, and so, and it had to drain. The fluid had to drain.
Oh, so it had stuff in it.
It had just liquid, like it was water. Like so, when you become edema is when the skin of the tissue, the deep tissue, fills with fluid from your body. So the blood, blood has water in it, and it circulates, and some of that water will go out into your tissue. So like people who have congestive heart failure, for example,
But
they
is this
have
ever
fluid
going
in their
to
legs,
is
right?
This, right.
Yeah.
Is this ever going to happen to him again?
Well, no, I don't think so. I think he touched something and he had an allergic reaction from it. That's, I think what happened. But what
So
happens?
don't eat shrimp or rub shrimp on your penis.
Right.
Unless you want me to. She's a suggestion. I am allergic to coconuts. Maybe we use coconut lotion.
Oh.
So
Nice.
you drain it.
Yeah, drained it. It drained, and it got back to the, significantly better size.
How much
by the
pain
end.
was he?
He wasn't so much in pain. It was more
just like,
of
what is
like,
happening
yeah,
to my
I
body?
think, yeah, and he was super nervous about the procedure. It's like, what is going to happen? So they did a,
Because you can't break your
they
dick.
did a dorsal penile block. So it's basically they inject numbing medication into the nerve that supplies the penis, and so they numbed his whole penis up, and they poked holes in it and it drained it, and then he was back to normal.
This is my kind of show. This is my kind of show. And my mom watches these kinds of shows.
Oh my God, your
right?
mom, yes.
Mom will call me, Mijo. Be careful what you touch your penis with. I saw a show.
Now that Clamadora knows, she's going to be like, ask her.
Yes.
That is crazy. So
Yeah.
my last question, because by the way, please watch the show. As you can see, there's lots of things coming out of people. And I want to meet these people. And I'm very interested. I wish we had Penis Guy here today.
I know.
wish we had Penis Guy
I
today.
would love to have met him.
Because we are a couples podcast, right? We talk about the trials and tribulations of being a couple, and we always struggle, and we've gotten better with working together.
Oh yeah.
How has that been?
You guys working together because your worlds were so different,
Right.
and now they've
Yeah.
collided.
Yeah,
An adjustment?
And it's such a weird dynamic for you guys because you're kind of the boss, but he's also kind of the boss.
Right.
Well, just keep in mind, first, if in television, first season, talent works for you. Second season, you work together.
Right.
Yeah, he's
Third season,
now
then you're
work for
working for
the-
the talent. So you got to get 3 seasons in.
So how has it been?
So I have to say he's amazing with interviewing. So I feel the most comfortable when he interviews me, and so at the very beginning it was great because he knows my nuances and my just my habits, and
Sure.
he can be very honest with me, and I'll be like, okay, yeah, awesome. And I think that's why we work together as a couple, because we're very honest with each other, right? But towards the end, when it was getting a little stressful and we were doing some extra shots in the facility, he would go on and on. I'm like, honey, stop, just say one word, move on. And so we were like arguing back and
I'm
forth.
like, I'm gonna step away now.
Yeah.
And he's the one who called it. He's like, okay, we just can't work together right now. I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and Renae and I talk about all the time where it's like, hey, in whatever project we're doing, I'm the lead. So let me be the lead.
Yeah.
But then sometimes she can't. And then when she's the lead, I let her be the lead.
But then sometimes you can't.
I always do.
Yeah.
But it does get hard because when you're working together and you're in front of other people, and like you guys, Renae and I are very forward with each other, right? We're very open, we're very honest, so sometimes we make people uncomfortable, and it's like, no, you don't have to be uncomfortable. This is normal for us.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
Yeah, we throw F-bombs all the time. What are you talking about?
Exactly. But other people are like, I think they're fighting,
This
and it's
is
like,
our form of healthy communication.
Yeah. So the one funny story that I was talking about earlier. So last week when she was on Good Morning New York,
Good Day, New York.
Good Day New York, big market, whatever, her hometown, and the woman asks, and it's live, and I'm standing off camera because I don't want her to see my physical reaction to like her fucking up or something. So sure as shit, I'm standing off to the side. And the woman asks her, so what is the most, unusual or interesting thing that's taken out of? She's taken maggots out of people's bodies. I thought she'd go maggot. And she goes vegetable. And I'm like,
I go full vegetable.
She goes full vegetable. And then starts talking about toys and stuff. And I'm like,
I know. But toys and kids and orphans were actually in the same sentence.
Toys and kids,
Toys,
though.
kids, and orifice. I put in the same sentence. And
Yeah.
he's just like,
Morning time.
and I'm like, but I've taken maggots out too.
no. Then the host, who was fantastic, who was like great.
Rosanna
She's like,
Scotto.
then she goes, hey, about animals. So she just went from that to animals, and I'm like,
answer the question. Animals.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, so I've not taken any animals out of people, but then I swerved and I was like, but wait a minute, I've taken maggots out of people.
That's an animal?
For sure. Yeah, that's an animal, right? Yeah. Oh, I've taken
How do you
maggots.
get maggots in your body?
So these are typically in wounds that have been sitting for weeks, if not months.
They're getting gangrene.
So these are like people had a wrap on and didn't take it off for weeks. And then flies lay their larvae. We see this quite a bit in the homeless population. Yeah, and so you'll be like unwrapping this and thinking, and you can start smelling things coming out as you're unwrapping, and then all of a sudden you just open it up and you're like, oh my gosh, those are maggots.
but they're doing good things.
But they're doing good. They're eating the bacteria.
Do you now?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are actually. And in the movie The Gladiator.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Where you got your PhD from?
They put maggots. Yes, I did. I got
Yeah.
from movies.
That's how
they
a lot
put
of
maggots
wounds were
in there
cleaned.
to kill the wounds. But have you gained? I mean, of course, you respect your wife. Of course.
I'm 90% doctor, if that's what you're about to ask.
Have you gained so much more respect for her day to day?
Oh.
Being there.
Yeah, honey.
Yes, I have.
I have to say,
I was gonna say, he's speaking wife.
Yes.
No, because
I'm not quite. He's trilingual, Spanish, English,
and
wife.
wife, yeah.
I'm trying to learn it.
But it's like when I end up with Delilah and Garrett by myself, right? And I'm like, oh man, like this is hard.
Yeah.
I leave on Thursday. Renae has the kids Thursday, Friday, Saturday alone. I've got one day, and I do have a little more sympathy and more respect towards her, because I'm like, oh man, this was hard. Or she handles all our paperwork. She handles our bookkeeping. So then I'll have to deal with something like that for the day, and I'm like
every woman has 50 jobs that they're doing.
Like, why am I on hold with the freaking cable company, or whatever it is? So I have given more respect, but you actually get to, we're together all the time. This is the first time that you've been in the office with her, day in, day out now.
It's
filming.
been a nice.
And it's just, sorry to step on you there, but the biggest challenge is while she's doing the show, working full time, kids, family life, yada yada. She also has to flip her schedule and do night shifts. And so when she does a night shift, I know it's like, okay, tread lightly, because
I'm not a happy camper after a night shift.
Captain Evil meet Admiral Evil after that, because she is.
Because sleep deprivation is legit a real thing.
Oh, for sure. I'm not very good at sleeping prior to my overnight. So typically my first overnight is I'm up for 24 hours. And then I come home and, you guys were talking about dirty dishes and stuff. I come home and it's literally like my mind is like blowing.
It's a disaster, bro.
And I become Admiral Evil. And I'm just like, what the? And my gloves come off and I'm like yelling at everybody. And I'm just like, please take a melatonin.
It won't be here when you get up.
Here, bite the leg. I'll handle it.
I feel so bad, and then I wake up and I'm fine.
But there is something, and I have grown to appreciate the woman, if you will.
The woman.
Well, no, because I have
me roar.
Well, no, but I have a daughter now, and I you sit there and you go, man, I know how to raise a son, but being a woman is hard.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
It gets worse.
But you also have to you also have to look good, and you have to be together, and you have, and you can't look in like, we can wake up, throw on a t-shirt and some shorts or whatever.
You can walk out looking like Britney Spears and you don't get judged.
I look like Britney Spears?
Exactly.
I am dreading, like my son, it will be 15 at the end of this month. He's well equipped. He can handle it. I've got 2 young girls, and I am dreading the crap that they're going to have to deal with as they enter their teen years and all that. Sorry, girls, but that catty bullshit y'all get into.
Yeah.
Like, can't you just, like, guys would just argue and be like, fuck it.
Fuck you, I'll punch you in the face.
Yeah. And like, we'll be over it in a minute.
Tween and teenage girls, they're nightmares.
Well, but not only that, it's like you want your daughter to know that she's smart. But you also want her to feel beautiful.
Yeah.
You also want her to be confident and not have body issues. I mean, it's so complicated.
We are complicated.
And Renae, after the baby, her hormones had changed.
Yeah.
And you have to deal with that. And I'm over there going, hey, Renae, you're not you right now. And she's like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm fine. And I'm like, okay, like, all right, So it is very complicated. So I can imagine.
Wait till menopause.
Yeah. It's coming, honey. She's like a year away.
Wow.
Steve gets his feelings hurt when I say he has a man cycle, because I think he has a cycle too.
For sure.
I know. I definitely find myself, but when I'm tired. If I'm tired,
I think men just regress. I think
I've just done a better, but I've done a better job as I've gotten older of apologizing.
That's
I even apologized to Garrett last night.
It's an important.
I had lost patience last night with Garrett, and I told him, I said, hey, buddy, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was.
Hey, that's the best thing you can do in general, right? I mean.
See, pay attention. Listen to the doctor.
Yeah.
Listen to the doctor.
When you talk about like interactions when you have with other people and just being yourself and being genuine. I mean, just being able to apologize. It goes a long way.
Do you have to consciously not desensitize yourself? Or is there a fine line?
There's a fine line.
Being desensitized because you got to do your job.
Yeah.
And giving a fuck.
Yeah, totally.
I couldn't put it any other better, right?
I get it.
No, I mean, I care about how the patient feels. I've been desensitized in terms of what I'm seeing, because that is just science to me. That's that's totally clinical.
Yeah.
Where it comes in is the emotions that the patients bring in, right? And particularly like the family members. Like when I have to tell a family member that their loved ones have died, I mean, I cry with them because I can't hold that back, because it's so much emotion, right?
It's real.
And it's real. So, but when you're coding that patient, you are doing the science, right? You are doing the medicine, and so you don't have that emotion. Your emotion is, what's the next step? What's the next step? What are they dying of? Like, how can I fix this? Like, you are in critical mode, right? And so, yeah.
Well, I think this is going to be a huge success. No, really, the show, because you were fantastic, and it just seems like a really cool, interesting way to bring us into the ER,
Yeah.
to see what doctors deal with on a day-to-day that's not just specifically save a life, save a life, save a life,
Right.
save a life. This is something
Yeah.
that, hey man, look what happened here. Let's
Yeah.
get, you know,
There's
it's
a
just
huge
really,
range, yeah.
And I would assume that you guys get to talk to the people as well, right?
Yeah, for sure. And that's, aside from seeing the science and the ooey gooey things that come out of people, really a lot of what's fascinating about this show is the story behind how this happened. I
Yeah.
mean, that you're just like, okay, the inflamed penis, who knows?
Right.
I think he was pulling it a little too hard myself,
Right.
but I don't know.
I don't know. I pulled pretty hard. I mean, it's
Maybe he had the coconut oil on.
Yeah,
I don't
who
know. But like the mechanic that impales his hand, and he's the most stoic dude in the world, and you're like, what a badass! And he's
Right.
walking around with this tool jammed in his hand, and he
can you
explains.
get this out?
Yeah, he's like,
Right,
yeah,
yeah.
it doesn't really hurt.
And then it's like the story behind it, and then it's also the question of like, well, what took you so long to come in? Why? How can you go this long with that?
Yeah.
You're just like, wow, like,
Yeah,
Why
Renee
would you
freaks out
wait?
because when I cut myself, I just super glue it.
Yeah.
oh gosh, oh gosh.
She's like, "Are you
Yeah.
really super gluing that?
Yeah,
You
it's
need
not gonna
stitches." I'm like, "I'm just gonna super glue it." But, TikTok, where can we get some instant what came out of me?
Oh shit, I don't know.
Oh, on TikTok? Oh,
Is that, are you
gosh.
guys on TikTok? Are you guys
Oh.
on Facebook? Are
So
you guys on?
well, I'll leave that to you.
No, we honestly, she has been completely off of social media, and now that the show's out, I was like, we have to put something up there. So
Sure.
we're Instagram and Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe our friend, the show producer on this, will help her with some TikTok
Yeah,
stuff.
right here. Put it right here on the screen. But follow me, Steve Trevino, on TikTok.
You
Follow-
are on TikTok.
Yes, I am on
Yes.
TikTok. Blowing up. But you look beautiful as always.
Thank
And
you. Like a
we are-
stripper in court, apparently.
Yes, that's what I told her.
Say
I
that?
said-
That's what he told me.
I told her that. I go, you look like a stripper that has to go to court.
Nice. Well,
Like she, like I said, we have a good relationship. But it is always wonderful to have amazingly wonderful couples on,
Thank you.
despite your huge success. But because you are hugely successful and beautiful, and you're in the same boat I am, where why, how? So we just truly relate to you.